What's up, everybody? This is Jason, Zombie Collector, and I'm going to do a review of Officer Downe. That is a play on words, let me tell you. So we have Kim Coates as an officer who keeps being resurrected, so to speak. He can be killed, and you can send him in like a heat-seeking missile, and he will destroy everything in its path. And then, of course, he will himself get destroyed, but then he'll come back to life. That's essentially what this movie is, and it's RoboCop without it being a Robo. That's essentially what it is. Like, he keeps just coming back. He has a sense. He has a moral compass that points only true north, and he will annihilate and does not discriminate against anybody who is bad. And I think it has, I was trying to tell somebody online, I feel like it's a second cousin to Machete. It's in that same vein of over-the-top, grindhouse, exploitation type film. Now, they do some nice practical effects in here, but, quite a bit of it CGI, which, of course, again, I don't like. I think it's kind of, not ideal. But it is what it is, and you just can't kind of sometimes get away from it. But essentially, you have a rookie cop that is being assigned to this unit, and he is there to they're basically there, him and three other people are there to babysit Officer Downe, because they know that the precinct in Los Angeles, which is where this takes place, they're going to lose him essentially every time they resurrect him, and I'll talk about that in a second. And they got to go in there and clean up the mess. So they send him in there, just like a rabid pit bull, go in and kill everybody, and then know he himself will also die. And they'll come and grab the body or whatever and bring him back, and they'll resurrect him again. You may be asking, Jason, you've said resurrecting him multiple times. What do you mean? So essentially, he is telekinetic. So he has this telekinesis thing going on with apparently people who have different kinds of, they're like, kind of like, what do you call one of the smartest guys in the world who was in the wheelchair? Can't think of his name. Stephen, thank you, son. Stephen Hawking. So a room full of Stephen Hawking's people are like using their brain power to essentially bring him back to life every time he dies. So you have all these people who are essentially in wheelchairs and look like they've, unfortunately have some sort of, mental disability or whatever you want to call it. But they're apparently they're all savants, so they have telekinetic power. They bring him back to life using their joint forces every time he gets killed in the line of duty. So he finds out about this, the kid, the rookie, and realizes, there's other stuff afoot here. It's not just, he just comes back and he drinks like a protein shake and he's good to go. So Kim Coates does a great job. He definitely hams it up. There's a ton of one-liners. He has to, of course, like level up almost every time he goes out to fight. There's the different bosses or different, bad guys he fights. He fights three like Furbies. What's that what they're called? Furbies or furries? Like three people who are dressed up like animals.
Oh, furries?
Furries, there we go. See, my son's like riding shotgun on this one. He's my co-pilot here. He's my 12-year-old's like knows more about these newfangled terms like Stephen Hawking's and furries than I do. But anyway, so you have three guys or three people who are one dressed like a lion, one's like a white tiger, and another one is like a vulture. And they're called the Fortune 500, and they're like kind of in charge of crime in the city, and they have all these underlings. Well, Officer Downe keeps going through them like paper mache, so they finally get a guy named what do they call this guy? He is a black guy, but he can speak Chinese, I guess. But then they do this whole like fake 1970s where the guy's talking. And then there's like subtitles at the bottom, or they keep talking. He keeps talking. He's done talking, and it still keeps going on and on and on, like the really bad, horrible 70s subtitles. or dubbed, like you know, it's dubbed in English or dubbed in Chinese. So it was like that. So it's a little off-putting at first because you're watching him, you're paying attention to him talk, but you realize when he's talking, there's no words coming out, and then when he's done talking, it's still going on, and so it throws you off a bit. And so he's like a kung fu master. All of a sudden, I forgot his name. I wish it tells me what it is, but it doesn't say. I'm not. He's a super villain, of course. Does it say here? No. So, but anyway, so that's the main guy, and he has a bunch of like ninja assassins, and essentially that was like he's like the final boss at the end, and you know, so that's essentially the story. It's it's an hour and a half long. It's just a big popcorn movie. There's no real deep dive here. But if you like grindhouse, you like exploitation, you like that modern day like machete type stuff. Machete don't text. You like machete type movies. You're gonna like this one. It very much feels in that vein. You have Alison Lohman's in it, or I think that's her name, Lohman. You have like a bunch of like people who dressed up like nuns, but not nuns that you would expect. They're like nuns dressed as the Hills Are Alive with the Sound of Music nuns with their like hats or whatever out this way. So it has that. They have like maroon crosses painted on their faces, and they're in a quasi church type thing or whatever, a place of worship, let's say, because it's not really a church. And they have to fight them, and the main girl in that one's called Mother Superior, that he has to fight her, and she's like a demon essentially, and it's crazy. It's crazy. Now, there is a woman in this movie who plays the chief of police, and she also plays the chief of police in Dexter. If you remember Dexter, I can't remember her name. I want to say her name's like Laura Valdez, maybe. And maybe I'm not correct, but I think I want to say her name is Laura Valdez. But she also plays in this as the same character, essentially. So she just went from Dexter to this and didn't really have to worry too much about, trying to play a different character. She's great in it. She's prominently featured as well. She's the only other name I kind of recognize, or person I recognize other than Kim Coates. Everybody else is, I don't know. I mean, there might be a few people. I mean, Alison Lohman we talked about. But everybody else I didn't recognize. So, anyways, it might not be a nice cup of tea. Want to throw it out there. I got this at the Dollar Tree this past weekend for $1. Came with a slipcover. Thought it would look cool. For $1. I definitely felt like I came out okay with that. So, anyways, guys, hope you all enjoyed the movie. Hope you all enjoyed the review. Let me know what you all think below. I'm definitely interested to hear what y'all's thoughts are. And until next time, peace.